Finally, a bathroom break. This presentation about comprehension is boring and confusing. How can teachers teach students to comprehend a story's text when we can't even understand what the presenter is trying to explain?
I know what you are saying. Her presentation isn't that organized and the ideas are not well outlined. And I'm sure she gets paid big bucks for this. Oh well.
Can you believe that our principal sends us to these ridiculous trainings and doesn't even have the decency to attend for even an hour?
You're right. But we are here, so let's try to learn at least one concrete idea that we can take back to implement in our daily instruction. What does she mean when she says students will better understand the story's text when they can make background connections?
I think she wants students to use their prior knowledge so that they will comprehend stories better. Like, if you actually experienced the same thing as the character in the story, then you will connect with that character, understand why the character thinks and acts a particular way.
So, do you think students will actually connect with the story's character?
I hope so. This morning the presenter showed us how to use the most common way students can comprehend text.
Oh, I don't remember what she said. I wasn't paying attention.
What do you mean you weren't paying attention?
Well, I was drinking my Starbucks and looking at my iPhone because I received a text message from, our principal.
Come on. Principal Kim. What's so important that his question can't wait until tomorrow? We're professionals. We're teachers. You should have put your phone away and waited until the break to read your texts. And you shouldn't be looking at your new iPhone. That's rude toward the presenter.
Sorry. Anyway, I had to read his text message. He wants to know if this training is beneficial.
Really? Come on. That's it. Text. 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 The presenter insisted on students connecting to the text. There are 3 ways of texting with the text.
That should be relatively easy. Students text constantly.
Well, listen now. Not that kind of text. There's text to text. That's when students can connect what they are currently reading to some other kind of text they have already read. That's tapping into their prior knowledge.
Can you provide an example for me?
Well, this month your students are reading the Diary of Anne Frank. Right? Well, you can ask your students to remember what book they read last month. I know it was Number the Stars because it was written on the curriculum pacing guide. Students should be able to answer your question and then make connections with both stories.
I get it. So, is there more?
Actually, there are 2 more ways for students to connect to the text. Another way is text to world. A current event or historical event is important to their reading because again they make connections.
Okay, but my students don't know anything about history. Come on. All they know is rap music, video games, and sports.
You could show them an example from the Diary of Anne Frank and Number the Stars. Model for them. You find a place in both stories where the Holocaust and World War II are mentioned. You can even add more historical details. Maybe introduce another book about the Holocaust. Get your students connected and involved. Spark their interests.
Like, Elie Wiesel's novel, Night? Maybe they would be able to understand how other wars have had an impact on many people's lives.
I think you're getting it. The last connection using background knowledge for comprehension is called text to self. This is when you personally find yourself in the same situation as the character in the story. Maybe you experienced the same thing. Or even you have the same kind of feelings.
Like when Anne Frank writes in her diary to express her feelings.
You're really understanding this. Kids do that now. They express their feelings in many different ways, and maybe one of those ways is journal writing or even poetry writing.
This is what I think you're telling me. I can have the same feelings or same experiences as the character in the story.
Yes, go on.
All I have to do is show my students that they can understand stories by making text connections. Text to text. Text to world. Text to self. I have to model for them first. Then guide them through the process.
Don't forget. You have to monitor them as they make these connections.
Do you mean I have to walk around the room as they find connections in the text?
Yeah, it's called checking for understanding. Don't forget assessment.
So, let me get it straight. The presenter wants us to use this texting strategy so that we can help our students better comprehend stories.
That's what it is. Maybe if you named the activity texting, students will become excited about learning something new.
I guess it couldn't hurt to try this. Students' learning always comes first.
Yeah. But how do we go back to school tomorrow and inform Principal Kim about this training? You know he will ask us to present this information to the whole staff during a collaboration meeting and call it professional development. All this extra work and no extra pay.
Hey, we're teachers, we're professionals. This is our way of life.